Hey there, today I have an unboxing and screening video of an order that I placed with Royal Collectibles in Queens, New York. I haven't ordered from them before, so I'm curious to see what's inside and what condition the books are in, so stay tuned. All right, so here we go. I'm going to unbox the order so you'll be able to see how it's packaged. It came in a USPS priority legal flat rate envelope. This is sort of what I would expect to be the typical packing, where you've got the legal flat rate envelope on the outside and hopefully some sort of Gemini mailer inside. So let's get this open. Okay, so the outer USPS flat rate envelope is open. That was a little more difficult than should have been. That was my fault, I think. So go ahead and just cut this tape here. All right, so inside we have this plastic wrapping, this blue bag. We'll get rid of this mailer. There we go. Okay, so this is taped down in a couple of directions. Just open this. All right, so this appears to be one of those sort of shipment or packing bags of some kind. It's a little bit larger than the size of a comic book. But here we go. Okay, so just like before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show the books and sort of screen them and catalog at the same time rather than unbox them first and go through them all. And let's see what we got. So the first book that I ordered from them is Eve #1. And this is from Boom Studios. This is the cover B from Mirka and Andolfo. And I ended up getting 3. And I think if you've watched other videos, I've talked about how I'm a big believer in this series. I really like the covers on this and have sort of loaded up on issue #1 and some variants for issue #2. But really like the premise here on this story. And I'm kind of stocking up on issues wherever I can find them. So this isn't really a difficult book to find, but I was placing some orders for some variants here, and I'll explain that when we get to them, and saw that they had Eve #1 still in stock. So I went ahead and bought 3 copies of this book. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and switch over to the desktop to show you the details of the order, and then also we're going to enter these into Go Collect and Cover Price in sort of my standard straightforward way, hopefully. So we're going to search for Eve #1 using the new interface. One thing I'll notice about Go Collect, they did switch it around, I think, so that the more recent hits show up first. I think it was done in reverse order before. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll kind of see that as we go here. And I want to go ahead and add this to my Go Collect list under Boom Studios. So it's my first box with the letter E. And again, just some user experience, like this automatically gets added to my notifications, which, you know, is fine. That's all right. And I need to say it's certified by CGC and the Universal. So this is now 2 clicks instead of 1. I don't need to really choose anything else. Well, here's the grade. So we do have to grade it here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to push this aside for now. And we'll take a look at how this book turned out. And I think these all have that matte cover. So this is really a great chance to get 9/8 with this particular paper type. But what the very first thing I noticed is it does have a little bit of I don't want to say impact damage necessarily, but definitely some corner wear right there of some kind. Some of that is art, some of that is on the corner, but it's certainly not as crispy as it could have been. And there's also some little minor chipping on that corner as well. So I'm thinking this is already a 9.6. The cover looks fairly clean. I don't see any scratches as I sort of move things in the light back and forth. Nothing really stands out to me there. This corner too has a little bit of whitening. It feels like a book that maybe sat on a shelf for a while, and maybe just the corners just sort of rubbed. But don't see any fingerprints. It looks good otherwise. I still feel it's like in that 9.6 quality. So I think that's what I'm going to give it. Gotta find my pencil. Okay, so, and then what I do is I will go ahead and mark it on the back of the bag and board here as a 9.6. And then I just grab it off the edge of my desk and put it in the bag and board, let it slide down. And now we've got this one. And I didn't replace the bag and board. It's fine. I typically only do that if the bags and boards are in rough shape, not of a good quality, or if they're 9/8, I always put them in the BCW Silver Age bag and board. Okay, so now switching back to the desktop, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9.6. This is now in reverse order than the previous version. You'll see this too in Go Collect says all changes saved, so I don't have to constantly hit the save button. I think the only other thing I have to do is, and again, I'm getting used to the new interface here, is I want to put the date acquired, and that's 9/18. And again, this is going to be a little bit of a different user experience here, where it's more of clicking and then using the keyboard. Purchased from. This is another one that one of the changes that they made. So before, what I used to do is I used to be able to type in like a couple of the first letters, and Chrome would remember what I typed in, and now it doesn't work like that anymore. So I don't know if they've put that on there and maybe disabled that on purpose. I'm not sure, but you'll see when we come back, I have to constantly type in the full store or source, and rather than fat fingering it, I'm just going to copy it and leave it in my clipboard. So I'll go ahead and hit save again, even though I don't have to. And in fact, it didn't really save anything there either. So I don't really know if this book is in my inventory or not, because when I click on this book, it does not show me, well, it shows me this specific one, but if I search Eve 1, there's no way for me to tell if I have this book in here or not, right? So I just have to trust that it's there. Now, if I go back to my lists and I go to Boom Studios, somewhere in this list is Eve number 1, I'm hoping. And there it is. I just added it. So it's right there at the bottom of the list, unsorted. So with cover price, I'm pretty familiar with how to search, and I can do this. Eve number 1, and we're looking for the cover B. And I have one other copy, and I'm going to soon have 3 additional copies to add. This will be a 9.6. And here it is. So my only other copy that I have is a 9.6, so I'm hoping that one of the other 2 at least are a 9.8. So this was purchased September 18th. And I'm going to have to enter a new location, Royal Collectibles. So I only have to do that one time in cover price, whereas with Go Collect, I have to do it every time. And I will go back here into my spreadsheet, and yes, it's in Go Collect, and I gave it a 9.6. So down here at the bottom, you'll see these numbers change. 9.6 is the average. Obviously, we've only done one. It was a 7-book order, and we'll see that the chance for a 9.8 hopefully will go up as I get 9.8s in here. That's the goal, is to find which of these books are 9.8s and then figure out where Royal Collectibles will sit in the overall ledger, so we'll also add them as well. All right, I'm going to try and go a little bit quicker with the other two copies. So I'm going to set aside this one that we opened. And let's get to grading on these. Okay, so same problem with this corner. It is a little bit of art. I do know that. For some reason, it's just right there on the edge of the border on the art. It almost looks like it's mash, but it's just some whitening on the corner. Still not what I would consider to be acceptable. It's okay, but again, it looks like it was sitting like this on a shelf and just kind of got worn as it moved around. So that's unfortunate. Same thing with the top corner. So this is almost identical to the one before, where it has a little bit of that minor corner wear. The edges looks fine. I don't see any scratches or anything on the front as we move it back and forth. I would say this is the better of the 9.6, but not anything with a defect that could be pressed out. Everything else looks pretty good. That edge looks good. Spine looks fine. So if we go up and down the spine, I don't see any other problems here. And again, just looking at that corner, it's just not perfect. So maybe you catch the CGC grader on a generous day and it gives you a 9.8. But to me, unfortunately, because of the corner wear, and it's really deceiving and it's hard to see there because of the art, but that's just a color breaking spine tick right there. And then the softening on the corner as well. So because of that spine tick, and it's weird, the other one had the same exact issue, I have to give this one a 9.6 as well. So I will indicate that on the back. So of the 3 issues that I have of this book, I don't yet have a 9.8. I've got one more to go. So I'm hoping that that will be the one. And I'm not going to cheat and look at it quite yet. I want to get this one data entered into the system. So I'll put that one aside. And then instead of ranting about Go Collect, I'm just going to get this one put in. So we have Eve number 1. I'm going to add it to the same Boom Studios list. Certified CGC, label, again, maybe I can use the keyboard and go faster. And the grade is, nope, 9.6. I don't know if the keyboard is going to work for me or not. And then purchased from, and this is what I was talking about, if I type in ROY, I don't see Royal Collectibles, but I did have it in my desktop clipboard. And then the date acquired 9/18, and we're already saved. So in that sense, that went a little faster. Eve number 1 in cover price. Same thing, 9.6. Come back here. And they always sort it if there are multiple copies in the same grade. It's always the rightmost copy is the one that you want to do data entry on. So purchase date 9/18/2021. And now this should be in here under our Royal Collectibles, and we're saved. Back to the spreadsheet, and I can just clone this record. So it's holding solid at 9.6. The last copy here of Eve number 1, I am hoping that this is my 9.8. If not, then it's just one of those books that's going to haunt me where I don't quite have the 9.8. But before I jump into all that, let's just go ahead and take a look and see what we got. So I'm going to run right down to the corner, same problem, color breaking spine tick, and the corner wear. This one I would say has a better corner. It's not as bad as the other two, but that's quite unfortunate that all 3 have the same problem. So I can't send that to CGC if it's color breaking. I know they might accept that as a 9.8, but it's not solid enough for me. The back looks fine, looks identical to the other 2, and I swear I didn't pick up the same book. They all have the same problem in this exact same spot. This looks fine. And there's no dents or curling here. It's really, really nice. I mean, it's a solid 9.6, like 9.6 all day long, no problem. Would be a very fun and expensive experiment to send all 3 books to CGC and see if all 3 got a 9.6 or if they decided to give one a 9.8. I don't know. But the book is not that desirable at this point for me to even do that. So if it was a different series, I might want to try it, but not with this one. So that's a little disappointing to me as a perfectionist that wants that perfect looking 9.8. But, 3 9.6s, you can't really complain too much about that. That's what the stores talk about, is they typically can only promise you like a 9.2 and above, which is fine. I understand that. I was just hoping that one of those 3 would be a 9.8. Okay, so certified by CGC, label universal, and grade, I'm using the page down to get to the 9.6. Just I don't want to tab through all of this. Purchased from Royal Collectibles, date acquired September 18th. And again, this is just there, so if you go fast and start like doing that, I hope it's saving. I don't really know, but fingers are crossed that it's doing what it's supposed to do. All right, so this one, again, this will be fast because it too is a 9.6. I now own 4 with the trade, and it's selling for a little bit above cover, so that's comforting. I don't know if I could get $6 for this book online yet, but again, I'm hopeful. I picked the wrong day. It's the 18th. I'm hopeful that in the long run, this will be a series that people will want to read and collect. I was hoping it would kind of take off the way that We Live took off. We Live almost by issue 2. Like once issue 2 was released, We Live became a very sought after and popular series. This one has not taken off in the same way. Okay, 9.6. And there you go. Okay, let's switch away from Eve. And this, you know what? I'm going to wait on this one. And let's pick. I'm going to hold off for a second because I have a little bit of a story on the other 3. This is Primordial #1 from Jeff Lemire. And this was a series that came out recently and had some buzz around it. And Royal Collectibles had an exclusive numbered to 500 here, which is cool. So, and it came in fullback, which is awesome. And I'm going to very carefully take it out of this bag and board and take a look at the grade. But pretty cool. What this was is it was a combination exclusive in partnership with Cadence Comic Art, which is where I've purchased my original art from and my commissions. So I thought, why not sort of take a look and support this new store plus Cadence with this variant. Primordial, getting decent reviews. Pretty much anything Jeff Lemire does. I don't want to say it's gold necessarily, but he does such great work. One of the best writers in comics, and so I wanted to have a copy of this exclusive. This is numbered to 500. So I like the cover as well. I thought that the colors on the cover and it really kind of spoke about the story here all in one. So looking at this one though, I don't see any issues here up and down the spine. That looks super clean. Looks really nice. So already this book just feels like a 9.8. Back looks great. No problems here. Corner looks super sharp. And the edge along the spine, no ticks whatsoever. Really, really great. So this one, 9.8. Now this one is interesting to me because if I did send this to CGC, I wonder if I wonder what they would do with the card. They don't put the cards in the slab, I don't think. So they would either just return it to me or I would just keep it. I don't really know exactly when you have a serial number that goes along with the book. Thanks, Siri. I don't know if there's a serial number that goes along with the book when it's slabbed, or if it's once it gets in the slab, the serial number is irrelevant. I don't really know how that works at CGC. So if you do know, you could leave a comment on this video, but very, very clean book. I love how this was sent. So this was sent with care. Now, I would hope so because they're putting their logo on the brand, but this is in a Mylite with a fullback. So when you saw the beginning of the video and the way that they packed the order, I mean, no wonder it showed up in a 9.8. So I doubt Primordial #1 in this exclusive is here, and it's not. Yeah, and I'm just looking at the covers. There's no way for me to, and I'm not going to go through all 167. So this is the other sort of problem is you'll see in row 1 we have Primordial 1, 3, 2, and 4. Second row has Primordial 1. So Primordial #1, this particular limited store exclusive, it could show up later. I don't know. But I can't sit here and scroll through 67 pages to find it. So unfortunately, if it's not in the first 2 or 3 rows, I just assume it's not in Go Collect. We'll check cover price. Primordial. 25 variants for this one. So hopefully you find one that you like. And let's see what we got. That's not in here either. And that's always okay. It's going to be hard for me to track the value of this one. But I just indicate here that it's in neither system. And we have our first 9.8, so 1 out of 4, obviously, 25%, with 3 books to go. So that one went a little bit a little quicker in terms of the data entry, but I got a little wordy on that one. But I just really liked this cover. I saw it and went, hey, you know, good series, great writer, limited edition, and the fact that they shipped it and sent it so well was fantastic. So let's look at the next couple, and I'm gonna grab these in this order. So this is Swamp Dogs from Scout, and it's their Black Caravan line. I get the Scout subscription box, and some of the Black Caravan issues are in there, but this is a store exclusive, so I don't expect it to be. And this is a limited to 250, and according to the card I got, this is #2 out of 250. I just missed #1. I wonder if they sent #1 to Suspiria. And speaking of Suspiria, she did the cover for this. If you watched my original art video from a little while back, you could see that through Cadence, I sent a commission order to get Jean Grey Phoenix drawn and painted and illustrated by Suspiria. It was such a wonderful surprise of just how well the art turned out and how much I liked it that I almost immediately went out and started to search to see if she had any other comics that were either coming out or available. And it just so happened around the same time that she had a couple, and this is one of the 2 that I picked up. And this is Swamp Dogs #1, House of Crows, excuse me. And this is Swamp Dogs #1, House of Crows, and she did the art, and the art is magnificent. So she certainly has a style, and I love the style. And let's go ahead and open this and see what this got as well. So this one in trade, it came with it's in a Mylite, but came with the standard backing board, I would say. I'm having a little trouble getting this out of the Mylite, which happens. It has that matte cover instead of the glossy, so it has a good chance of being a 9.8. Little bit of softening on that corner, I would say. Better than the Eve #1s. So I would say that's in the acceptable range for me. No spine wear whatsoever, and just a slight softening or whitening on that corner as well right there. Again, all in that acceptable 9.8 range. Let me move this out of the way. There we go. Edge looks fantastic. That corner looks nice and sharp. Let's turn it around. Oh, actually, finish off with this corner. That one too looks great. Just jumping ahead. No scratches along the back. This is a darker cover, so I like to just kind of move it back and forth in the light. A little bit of whitening there. Got to think about that. It's starting to add up. Just the I would say like on the fence. I still think that's okay. Let's see. I don't think we can afford any other problems though with the book. And the spine on this looks great, and that top back corner looks good too. That one's on the. It's everything is like borderline, but I still feel like objectively I can give this a 9.8. Just due to the fact that the cover is very clean. The outer edge corners are crispy, but this one's close. I mean, if it got a 9.6, I think I would have to just kind of tip my hat to CGC and go, okay, fine. Like, there were enough of the borderline, I would say, corner issues. But for me, those are all acceptable. I think that that's typical. It just happens to be on 2 on the front and 1 on the back where it's borderline. I would say if all 4 corners had it or there was some other issue, then it's an immediate 9.6, but I'm still giving this the 9.8. Okay, so let's catalog this. Again, I'm not hopeful that these will be in Go Collect. Swamp Dogs one. But let's take a look and see. Yep, not there. How about cover price? Stray Dogs. See if I spelled it right. Limited series. Is Swamp Dogs even in here? Huh. Swamp God. Stray Dogs. Watch Dogs. I'm not seeing it. Annuals, limited series, Swamp Thing. Interesting. I don't see this in cover price at all. It's almost like they just missed the whole series. And I think it's because it's Scout. Sometimes they have a problem getting Scout books in here. So this is kind of interesting. I'm putting this in here in my spreadsheet without entering it into either. So, okay. Now we're up to 40%, 9.8. So hopefully you agree with me giving that book a 9.8. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. Now this next book I'm going to have to be careful with because this is Swamp Dogs #1, the Suspiria variant, but you can see kind of as I'm moving it back and forth in the light, this is the foil. It's the rainbow foil version. And this one is limited to 100. And I got 26 out of that 100. Sometimes it's fun to get, I would say, just a fun number, like 1 or 100 or 50 or something like that. But 26 is still great. So this one, the only thing that I don't think I'm going to take this out of the bag and board, just because this you're asking for fingerprints. So as much as I would love to get in there and grade it, I'm going to need to take out some gloves or do something with it. So I typically don't do this, and I don't recommend this either, but I'm getting blinded with the reflection, and you would too. One thing I noticed right in here, right by my finger, this is going to be tough, right there. Do you see that? Right above my pointer, right there. There is a spine tick. It's hard to say if it's color breaking, but it's definitely there. So I'm going to give this book, to be on the safe side, a 9.6. I don't see really any other issues with the front cover. And I don't see any reason to mark it down as a 9.4 or just assume it's a 9.2 or a 9. It's a brand new book. Everything, the corners look super, super nice. But that right there is a killer. It's hard to get that in the light with all of the foil and everything else, but hopefully you saw it before, but it's right there by my thumb now. Anyway, so that's a little disappointing that I noticed that. I am going to open it just so I can indicate on the board what I think it is. Again, if Swamp Dogs goes crazy and becomes this hot, popular series, then maybe I just send it into CGC sight unseen. It's nice to have a 1 out of 100. And gorgeous cover by Suspiria. has it's almost a little bit of appropriate for Halloween with the skulls in the background, everything like that. So a nice collectible, nice cover anyway, regardless of the grade. But I have to be fair here and go ahead and give it the 9.6. So again, I'm not complaining necessarily about the grades that Royal Collectibles has received so far on these. I mean, to get an average of 9.67 out of the gate with 2 9/8 already out of the 7 books, that's a fantastic order. Now, the last book is another one by Suspiria, and this was, again, the sort of a timing thing where I noticed right after I purchased the art and received the art, it was almost like I was waiting to see just how great the original art was, and it was great. It was fantastic. Again, I searched around. She had Swamp Dogs #1, and she also had a Me You Love in the Dark #1 variant, which again is amazing. The art is so good. Just the color choices here, the way that the figure is laid out, the overalls, the face, it just the hands coming down from the top, really creepy, really great. I mean, she just nailed this one in my opinion. So this also was a limited, and I got issue #2 out of 500. So this is also cool. If you're interested in these, again, I'm not sponsored by Cadence or Royal, but if you go to their website, they still have this available. Okay, so it looks as if I'm becoming a Suspiria fanboy, which is fine with me. So let's take a look at this book. Same as the Swamp Dogs, the top corner is a little bit of splitting, but again, it's okay. And I'm already sensing myself sweating on this one, so I have to be careful and go quickly. But a little tiny issue there in the spine, but right there. But I don't think that that's a deal breaker either of a 9.8. It feels like a 9.8 so far. And that corner looks really nice, really good. So I'm happy with that. I'm hoping that's not color rub on the top and just part of the art, I hope. Looks pretty crispy otherwise. Yeah, again, so right there is that color rub or art. Not sure. The fact that she signs her name down there, I'm hoping it's just art because it's sort of the same color. And then very quickly, I'm going to make the claw so I don't get fingerprints all over it. The back looks, those are acceptable waves, I would say. There's no real denting or anything in the book. A little bit right there, but it's not bad. Top corner looks good. And I think this is getting the 9.8. If I want to be super picky or particular, I would have to maybe look up and see what other covers, if they have that bit of the art there, but I'm pretty sure that that is just part of the art, and I'm hoping the top is as well. So it is something that I would maybe find another copy or look on eBay or something to just to see where another one might be, but I don't think there's a lot of imagery out there of people taking pictures or videos of this one. So right there in the top, I would have to look at it one more time, but again, it does look like art because I'm seeing a little bit here as well. So it is popping up in kind of other places here and here. So I think it is art. Okay, so before I put this back in the bag and board, I'll go ahead and give it the 9.8. And that happens sometimes, especially with dark covers. You're looking at going, is that a crease? Is it a dent? Is it color rub? Or is it art? And that's a question that you kind of have to ask and do some research. But as an amateur grader, I'm looking at that, and it looks like art to me. And we'll take it from there. So I'll put this back. This came in a Mylite as well, with a standard backing board. And I'm just going to leave it as is. Great book. Okay. Now we'll see if this is in here. Dark #1. Yeah, go collect, again, your search results. I'm not scrolling through 167 showing one of 10,000 results. So for me, unfortunately, if it's not in the first couple rows, it's not in there because I don't have the time to search through all of 10,000 books for the one I'm looking for. Okay, so Me You Love in the Dark. This one had many variants, as you can see. The Orzu is beautiful. The Scotty Young variant is fantastic. And love the Jenny Frison. The Hutchison Cates one is also great. I love that one. There's so many good covers on this one. And here it is. This is the Suspiria limited to 500. It's in there, which is fantastic. So I'm going to add this and put this in as a 9.8, purchased on 9/18 from Royal. And we'll save it. And the last step is to add it. So Go Collect was really struggling. Only got 3 out of the 7 in Go Collect. Cover price had 4 out of the 7 and a 9.8. So the final tally of this order out of 7 issues, average grade of 9.69. Can't complain about that. And 42, near 43% chance to get a 9.8, as we saw that 3 out of the 7 came back in a 9.8. So, in summary, I would say pretty good experience. Really appreciate the secured packing from Royal Collectibles, but I think more so than that, it was the fact that I was getting. Now I understand these are store exclusives, but a lot of times store exclusives come in with just a standard bag and board, just like any other book. So the fact that this came in the Mylight with that extra bit of protection, that makes a difference. I order incentive variants from Things from Another World, and honestly, if you're looking at a stack of books, the way that they package them, you can't really tell one from the other, whereas these obviously in the Mylight and certainly with these cards in the back, it really makes the books stand out in your order. So really appreciate Royal and Cadence putting those exclusives together. I'm a very quickly growing fan of Suspiria, so I love her art as well. And you can check out some of her original art on Cadence Comic Art, and check her out on Instagram. And I think that's it. So thanks for watching, happy collecting, and see you next time.